Thank you, ma'am. And first of all, Jai Hind to everyone present here. This is the 74th Republic Day that we are celebrating today. But as we all know, that it took us so many sacrifices, it cost us so many lives to reach at this phase of time. We are now the fifth largest economy of the world. But if you go through the history, then you realize that getting to this phase was not an easy task. So it is very important to first remember the sacrifice and contribution of our legions and great freedom fighters. So we talk about the history of British Republic Day, but before that, we would like to remember all those martyrs, all those legends who sacrificed their life so that we can get this freedom and do whatever we want in our life. So first of all, I would like to talk about one of the freedom fighter, Subhash Chandra Bose. There's a specific reason for me to remember his name, and that is he was freedom fighter, but he was truly an educated person. After completion of his college degree from India, he went to Britain to pursue his Indian civil services career. So when he went there, he found out that it took 2 years to prepare for the civil services. But he was so bright student that it took him only 6 months to complete the preparation. He appeared the examination and he did not only crack it, but he made a record. It was a history. He got the fourth rank in the civil services exam. So that time it was a history. No any Indian was able to do it. So while doing his job, he realized one thing that I'm getting all the amenities of my life, but on the other hand, the countrymen, the people who belong to India, they were suffering because over our country, Britishers were ruling over us, and they were doing so many atrocities. So it always become a anguish and pain point for him. So staying there, he realized that now it is time to resign from this post and went back to India. So he resigned and he decided to serve the Indian. He decided to get our country free. So this news was spread all across the country in India, and people were so excited to see this wise man. And they all gathered at the port because those days there was only one medium to travel from one country to another, and that was through the sea route. So all the Indians, like in huge numbers, gathered around the port, and they were waiting for Subhash Chandra Bose to see and welcome him. So finally, Subhash Chandra Bose reached to the country, and when he saw so many Indians giving him love, affection, and respect, so he was overwhelmed and moved by this gesture. And then he decided that now I'll go to the poor people of this country, I'll go to the people who are in need and try to find out the solution for them. So he visited all across the country, and finally he joined the Congress because that was a very famous movement which was led by the Mahatma Gandhi. So it was a very famous movement, and he decided to serve the nation with the help of Congress. So he joined the Congress, and seeing his intelligence, he was made the president of Congress. So he served as a president, but with the time, some differences arose between the Congress party. Because Subhash Chandra Bose was of the opinion that the Britishers who ruled over our country, and they did so many disasters, they caused so many famine and problems in our country, it was not easy for convince them to leave our country. So we decided that now I have to fight back to the Britishers. But on the contrary, Gandhiji was of a different view. He thought that it is not possible or it is not good to fight against the Britishers. So because of this difference, Subhash Chandra Bose decided to resign, and finally he resigned the Congress and he went back to his own way. So we decided that now we need some official army. Only then we can fight these Britishers. So in this pursuit, we went to the different country to understand that how a military and how an army can be prepared. So he went to the Germany, met the Adolf Hitler, then to Japan, and he got so many support from them. Someone provided the weapons, someone provided the army, because those days the Indians were joining the British army and they were fighting against the Axis power. Britain were involved in the Allied power. So that's why a lot of Indian people who were serving in the British Army, they were made prisoner in Germany and in Japan. So with the help of Subhash Chandra Bose, they were all freed from those prisons, and they would finally join the Azad Hind Force. So before coming to our country, Subhash Chandra Bose already had around 10,000 people in his Azad Force in the force. When he went back to India, he was huge support. And he made a slogan that तुम मुझे खून दो और मैं तुम्हें आजादी दूंगा. So it was the valor, it was the status of Subhash Chandra Bose that at that time he was not in a situation to pay any kind of salary, but still on his call people were ready to sacrifice everything for him, and not only from one religion and one caste, but people from different religion, different caste, different background, they were coming and joining Azad Hind Force. So finally, it happened that we had one official army in our country, which was Azad Hind Force. So that time it was a problem with the Britishers that they were definitely ruling over the country, but they had handful of people from the Britain. Most of the people who were involved in British army, they were hired from the India. So it was a setback for them because now British army, who is mostly constituted by the Indians, now they started uprising. They started fighting against the Britishers. So it was a kind of very embarrassing event to the Britishers because they were paying money to their army and their army were ready to fight against the Britishers. So it was really a tough time for them. So their emperor, the president or prime minister who were ruling in the Britain, they realized that this is the time that they need to leave our country. So they decided that by the 1948 they will leave the country. But here Azad Hind Force was getting stronger, and the British Prime Minister now they decided that now their condition in India is weakening day by day. So they decided that they will leave the country by 1948. But the intense protest started in India, and they realized that we need to process our decision, otherwise we will suffer the more damage. They were reluctant to give the freedom, but there was one party which is called the Labour Party. So they were fighting against the Conservative Party. The Conservative Party was ruling over the England, and the Conservative Party Prime Minister face was the Winston Churchill. So the Labour Party President Clement Attlee, he promised one thing, that if he formed the government in Britain, then he will provide the freedom to India. So ultimately in 1946, Clement Attlee formed the government and decided that now we will free the India. So after getting in power, Clement Attlee sent 3 cabinet members of his government. These 3 cabinet members were Alexander, Lawrence and Panthick. So cabinet mission reached India in 1946, but they put one condition that you have to form your interim government. Interim government means that you have to make a temporary government until you prepare your constitution. We will come, we will be here and we will monitor everything. So that's how when cabinet mission reached to India, the Indian leaders, Indian scholars started working on their own constitution. So in this constitution committee, there were 13 different committees. One of the committee was known as drafting committee, which was headed by Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar. As you all know that he was the chairman of the drafting committee and he played a very significant role to prepare the constitution. So it took us 2 years, 11 months and 80 days to complete the constitution writing. So finally, in 26 November 1949, they prepared the written constitution. But the problem was that we got the freedom on 15th of August 1947. So before getting the independence, in 1929, Lahore अधिवेशन, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru declared that now we want the complete freedom from the Britishers. And from that time he decided that next year in 1930 and in the month of Jan, on last week on Sunday, we will declare our independence. So that's how 26 Jan 1930 1930 was declared as the Independence Day in India. So we got the freedom in 1947, but in 1930, by Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru, it was only declared the independence. So from 1930, every year they started celebrating the Independence Day, and they kept doing it. They kept celebrating Independence Day till the 1950. There was one problem that when we got the freedom, we were celebrating two events. First, 15th of August 1947 as Independence Day, and again 26th January 1950. 1950. So the problem was that we could not have the two separate days to celebrate the Independence Day. So when constitution writing was completed, at that time they decided that this day, 26th Jan, has the historical significance. So they decided that they will not leave this date and they will include it in the history. So when constitution was prepared, finally this day was selected to implement the constitution that was written and that was prepared. So finally, in the year 1950s, the constitution was implemented, and that's how we started the celebration of the Republic Day. But to reach this place, we have so many sacrifices. Let me tell you one story about the Veer Savarkar. There are so many controversies and there are so many debates about it. Someone say that he was a business person, someone say that he signed the mercy petition. But if you see the history and if you see the reality, then you will find out that this person was the true patriot because he got the Kala Pani punishment. He was kept in a very horrible and terrible prison and he was forced to act as an animal. Those days, it was a very tough task. These Britishers were using the human and the prisoner to extract the oil, जिसको हम लोग कोल्हू के बाई के नाम से भी जानते हैं. तो humans were being used to extract the oil, and that was the job of the Veer Savarkar in the Kala Pani jail. So his family further forced to beg on the road because the utensils, the other food items, the house was captured by the Britishers and it was auctioned. So their family had no other way to survive. So Veer Savarkar's family, their female members, they were forced to beg on the survive. So this was the difficulties that our fighters or freedom fighters faced, and that's why we need to realize the importance of this freedom. If you are free, then you need to be self-disciplined. In the same manner that we got the freedom, that because we got the freedom and that was not the only thing. After getting freedom, we had the rules, and because of those rules, we have reached to the position where we are now. So in the same manner, we also have the freedom, but we have to impose the rule over us. We have to be disciplined so that we can also make progress and we can also reach to the perfect destination in our life. So with this, I would like to end my speech. Thank you for everyone. You have been wonderful audience. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.